Not every great career fits every personality. Some jobs energize people, other jobs drain them completely. Let's start with one of the biggest introvert-friendly careers in the modern world, software engineer. One of the most well-known introvert-friendly careers is software engineering. And honestly, it makes sense. A lot of software engineering work involves deep focus, independent thinking, problem solving, building systems, and long periods of concentration. For example, a software engineer may spend hours debugging code, building app features, improving websites, fixing security issues, or solving technical problems quietly. That type of focus work naturally appeals to many introverts. Now, obviously, software engineers do not spend all day alone avoiding human contact. Modern tech jobs still involve meetings, collaboration, project planning, and teamwork. You still have to have really great communication with others, especially at larger companies. But compared to highly social careers, engineering usually offers much more uninterrupted focus time. Many people get it wrong where they think a lot of introverts just dislike people. They dislike constant stimulation. There's a difference. Many introverts communicate very well in situations where conversations feel purposeful, structured, and problem-focused. Software engineering often works exactly that way. Instead of endless networking or small talk, conversations usually revolve around solving problems, improving systems, and discussing products. That appeals strongly to analytical personalities. Now, let's talk about the reality that people online can't ignore. Coding can become mentally exhausting. Engineers sometimes spend hours fixing problems caused by one typo or one missing symbol or one incorrect setting. Imagine ruining your entire workday because of a semicolon. That happens constantly. Technology also changes very quickly, which means engineers are continuously learning new languages, new frameworks, new tools, and new systems. But for introverts who enjoy logic, systems, technology, and focus work, software engineering remains one of the strongest modern career paths available, especially because experienced engineers often gain strong salaries, remote work flexibility, and long-term demand. Now, let's jump to the complete opposite side, sales. This is one of the clearest extrovert-friendly careers because success depends heavily on communication, confidence, energy, relationship building, and interaction. Sales representatives spend huge amounts of time talking to people. They meet clients, they make phone calls, they attend meetings, they negotiate deals, they give presentations, and they have to build relationships constantly. For many extroverts, that interaction feels energizing instead of draining. Now, obviously, not every extrovert automatically becomes good at sales, and not every introvert struggles with it. Some introverts become fantastic salespeople because they listen carefully and they build trust well. But generally speaking, highly social environments naturally fit many extroverted personalities better. Now, here's something important people misunderstand. Good sales is not just talking a lot. The best salesperson understands psychology, timing, trust, emotional intelligence, communication, and solid listening skills. For example, a bad salesperson pressures customers aggressively. A great salesperson understands what the customer actually needs, what problems they're trying to solve, and how to build long-term trust. That difference matters enormously. Now, let's look at a real-world example. Imagine a company selling cybersecurity software to hospitals. The sales representative may spend days meeting executives, explaining systems, answering technical questions, negotiating pricing, and maintaining relationships. That requires huge amounts of interaction. For many extroverts, that environment feels invigorating and exciting and life-giving. For some introverts, it would feel exhausting very quickly. Now, obviously, sales also comes with pressure. Rejection happens constantly. You really have to have thick skin for the sales role. You may spend weeks preparing for deals, building relationships, and creating proposals, only for the customer to choose another company at the last second. That stress and rejection is real. But strong salespeople can earn an amazing income through commissions, bonuses, and incentives, especially in industries like software, medical sales, real estate, and enterprise technology. And honestly, communication remains one of the most valuable skills in the modern economy. Up next, data analyst. This career is extremely popular among introverts because the work rewards focus, observation, analytical thinking, and independent problem solving. Data analysts help companies understand information. They answer questions like, why did sales drop? Which products perform best? Why are customers leaving? Why are trends changing? And what are they changing to? What should the company improve? Instead of relying on opinions, businesses use data. The analysts help interpret that information. For example, imagine an online store suddenly notices lower sales, abandoned shopping carts, or fewer returning customers. A data analyst may investigate the website traffic, customer behavior, ad performances, pricing changes, and purchasing patterns. Then they can help explain what's happening. Now, here's why introverts often enjoy this role. A lot of the work happens independently. Analysts may spend hours studying dashboards, organizing reports, identifying patterns, and solving problems quietly. That focused environment naturally appeals to many introverted personalities, especially people who enjoy logic, patterns, systems, and structured thinking. That said, communication still matters. Analysts still need to explain findings clearly because data becomes useless if nobody understands it. But compared to highly social careers, analysts usually experience fewer nonstop interactions. They get a chance to breathe. And honestly, many introverts prefer environments where thinking deeply matters more than speaking constantly. Now, here's something important. Almost every industry depends on data now. Sports teams use analytics, streaming platforms use analytics, banks use analytics, retail stores, you guessed it, use analytics. Even restaurants track customer behavior constantly, which means strong analysis are valuable almost everywhere. And for introverts who truly enjoy problem solving, business strategy, and analytical thinking, this can become an excellent career path. Now, let's chat about one of the most socially demanding careers, public relations or PR. PR specialists manage how companies, brands, celebrities, or organizations are perceived publicly. That means handling media communication, managing public image, organizing interviews, responding to controversies, and building relationships constantly. This career naturally attracts many extroverts because interaction never really stops. For example, a PR specialist may spend one day talking with reporters, attending networking events, managing social media communication, coordinating interviews, and preparing public statements. That's a lot of social energy. Now, here's something people really underestimate. PR becomes especially intense during crises. Imagine a company faces a public backlash, a lawsuit, a product failure, or a social media controversy. PR teams have to quickly solve this. And honestly, one poorly written statement can make everything dramatically worse. We've all seen it. Which means strong PR professionals need confidence, adaptability, emotional intelligence, fast decision making, and excellent communication skills. Now, why do extroverts often thrive here? Because many extroverts naturally enjoy networking, public interaction, fast-paced environments, and relationship building. And PR is built all around relationships. Relationships with media, influencers, executives, clients, and audiences. Now, obviously, introverts can absolutely succeed in PR too, especially thoughtful introverts who communicate carefully. But generally speaking, extroverts often feel more energized in environments requiring constant interaction. Now, let's be honest though. PR can become emotionally exhausting, especially online. Modern PR professionals deal constantly with internet backlash, nonstop news cycles, public criticism, and social media pressure, what we like to call the cancel culture. The stress is real, but for extroverts who genuinely enjoy communication, networking, and fast-moving environments, PR can become a very exciting career. Let's talk about one of the fastest-growing introvert-friendly careers, the cybersecurity analyst. Cybersecurity analysts protect organizations from hackers, scams, data breaches, phishing attacks, and digital threats. Let's be serious. Honestly, this career becomes more important every single year because the world keeps becoming more digital. Think about how much sensitive information is out there in the world now that exists online. Passwords, banking information, medical records, company systems, customer data, and private communications. Everything becomes a target. Cybersecurity analysts help monitor and protect those systems. For example, if suspicious login attempts suddenly appear at 3 a.m. from another country, cybersecurity teams investigate immediately. Maybe it's harmless, maybe it's the beginning of a major attack. Here's why introverts often thrive in cybersecurity. cybersecurity. The work requires focus, observation, analytical thinking, patience, and independent problem solving. A lot of cybersecurity work involves monitoring systems, investigating unusual activity, analyzing threats, and solving technical problems quietly. That environment naturally appeals to many introverted personalities, especially people who enjoy things like puzzles and systems and critical thinking. Now, obviously, cybersecurity isn't some crazy movie scene where people are typing dramatically while green code flies across giant screens. A lot of the job involves research, monitoring, documentation, and careful investigation. And honestly, many introverts enjoy careers where deep concentration matters more than social performance. Okay, so what's the downside? Cybersecurity can become stressful, goes without saying. Imagine getting alerts at 2 a.m. because systems may be compromised. That pressure is very real. But demand for cybersecurity professionals remain extremely high because digital threats continue growing. And experienced cybersecurity analysts can earn strong salaries, remote flexibility, and long-term career stability, especially with companies in cloud security, penetration testing, and incident response. Now, let's move into one of the most extrovert-heavy careers in the modern business: the recruiter. Recruiters help companies find and hire employees. That means constant interaction with candidates, hiring managers, executives, and their teams. A recruiter may spend an entire day interviewing candidates, networking, messaging professionals, scheduling calls, attending career events, and discussing job opportunities. For many extroverts, that nonstop interaction feels energizing. Here's something important. Good recruiters are not just people who schedule interviews. Strong recruiters understand psychology, communication, company culture, negotiation, and relationship building. For example, a recruiter may help convince a talented engineer to leave one company and join another. That requires major trust, communication, and persuasion. Now, why do extroverts often thrive here? Because many extroverts naturally enjoy meeting new people, conversation, networking, and relationship building. Recruiting rewards exactly those traits. And obviously, the job also comes with pressure. Hiring goals can become stressful, and recruiters are constantly dealing with ghosting, rejections, canceled interviews, and difficult hiring managers. That frustration can be intense. But for extroverts who genuinely enjoy communication, helping people, finding the right fit, and fast-moving environments, recruiting can become an excellent career choice, especially because hiring remains critical in almost every industry. Let's talk about one of the most creative, introvert-friendly careers: graphic design. Graphic designers create visual content for brands, websites, advertisers, apps, social media, packaging, and marketing campaigns. And truly, many introverts thrive creatively during focused alone time. For example, a designer may spend hours refining layouts, editing visuals, adjusting colors, choosing typography, and improving branding quietly. That concentrated creative work appeals strongly to many with introverted personalities. However, graphic design still involves collaboration. Clients constantly give feedback, sometimes confusing feedback too. Every designer eventually hears, "Can you make it pop more?" without anyone explaining what that actually means. Still, compared to highly social careers, graphic design often allows much more independent work, especially for freelancers, remote designers, or agency creatives. Now, here's something important to note about this one. A lot of introverts communicate extremely well visually. Instead of expressing ideas mainly through conversation, they express them through visuals, branding, color palettes and systems, and storytelling. That becomes extremely valuable in marketing and business. Think about how instantly recognizable major brands are through logos, colors, typography, and visual identity. I mean, literally think of like the Nike swoop, right? It's immediate. Design shapes how people emotionally perceive companies. Now, obviously, that field has challenges too. Competition is intense. AI design tools are growing rapidly, and clients often request endless revisions. But strong designers who combine creativity, branding knowledge, communication, and technical skill while also building relationships can build excellent careers, especially because businesses constantly need visual content online. And finally, the event planner. This is one of the most extrovert-friendly careers because it involves nonstop coordination and social interaction. This is the field that I professionally especially came from, and I can attest to being an extrovert myself, which is very, very common in this field. Event planners organize conferences, weddings, corporate events, golf tournaments, networking events, launches, and festivals, which means they are constantly having to interact with vendors, clients, venues, speakers, guests, and teams. Event planning can sound amazing, and a lot of the times people have rose-colored glasses on when they hear the word events, but it is basically professional chaos management. Something always goes wrong, always. Maybe it's a vendor arrives late, the food arrives late, the microphones stop working, weather ruins plans, you need a backup plan, or guests suddenly double. Event planners are constantly problem solving in real time. That environment rewards communication, adaptability, leadership, organization, and emotional control. So why do extroverts often thrive here? Because many extroverts genuinely enjoy fast-moving environments, meeting new people, group interaction, and high energy situations. For some personalities, that atmosphere feels super invigorating. For others, that would feel overwhelming and exhausting immediately. Now, obviously, event planning can become stressful and demanding, especially when you're handling high-stake events. But for extroverts who enjoy energy, coordination, and creating experiences, this career is incredibly rewarding, especially because every event feels different. No 2 weeks ever look exactly the same. So, what's the biggest takeaway from all of this? A good career is not just about money, prestige, or what looks impressive online. Personality fit matters too, because two people can have the exact same job and experience it completely differently. One person can feel energized while the other person feels exhausted. And honestly, a lot of burnout happens when people force themselves into environments that completely clash with their personalities. I highly suggest also looking into the Enneagram as well for this, because this is very helpful when selecting job careers. Now, obviously, introverts and extroverts are not identical groups. There are social introverts, quiet extroverts, ones we just like to say verts, and people somewhere in between. But understanding what naturally energizes or drains you can help a lot when choosing a career path. Some people thrive during networking, meetings, and nonstop interaction, and others thrive during focused work, independent thinking, and quieter environments. Neither is better, they're just different. And the modern workforce absolutely has room for both. Which career surprised you the most? See you in the next one.